That's great. You stayed a long time.
Now,
Oh, but
I
your
don't
trip,
Especially after that flight.
Oh, my trip was
beyond.
fabulous.
It was fabulous. Machu Picchu.
Oh, my God, what a trip.
Oh, boy, that's on my bucket list.
Yeah, well, I highly recommend it. Be sure to acclimate to the altitude.
Yeah, oh, well, yeah, how do you do that?
You hang out quietly for a couple of days.
So you had.
Hello, everybody. I just got a pop-up that this is being transcribed by an AI companion. We've been asked to not associate those with our accounts. I don't know what the, I don't know if we have guidance yet on what we're supposed to do if we are in a meeting where that is, an AI is being used, but if the AI is optional, would it be possible to turn it off?
I don't know who is doing that. Mary Ann? Mary Ann, I don't see you on here. And I
I
don't
wonder
see,
if she stepped away.
I don't see the committee either. AI companion's been turned off.
Ah, thank
Okay.
you, whoever did that. Much appreciated. We've been getting a lot of emails from our own tech support about that kind of thing, and they still haven't, I think they're still waiting for the state to figure out what state employees should do about it, but I appreciate
Sure, no problem.
greatly.
I think she's,
She's starting up.
there we are.
Ta-da.
Okay, there's everybody. You're on mute. Looks like they're trying. I think it's the owl that is muted.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay, okay, so the town gave us new Zoom accounts. And it's quite different than my old Zoom account, and I'm still figuring it out. So thank you for saying you didn't want the AI companion. I don't need to have it, and we turned that off, so,
Great.
okay.
I appreciate it, thanks.
Thank you. So it looks like we have a quorum, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7:03. And I do not see any public here. So is there any public comment? I don't see any public here. Okay, so we will go on to the meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the meetings of February 25th?
I move we approve the minutes of February 25th. This is Brad.
I will second that. That's Elaine. Any corrections or changes other than those that were already received?
Stephen has his hand up.
I do?
No, you don't, no,
No,
no, that's, okay.
Something else? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
okay.
I have
Hearing,
some
yes,
questions
Fred.
arising from the minutes, but I would approve them and then I would ask my questions. These have nothing to do with the accuracy of the minutes themselves.
Okay. Okay, roll call vote then.
And no, it's I.
Ellis, aye.
Foster, aye.
Pool, I.
Thanks,
Moss, I.
Quackenbush abstained, wasn't here.
Vallejo, aye. Okay. So the minutes have been approved. Brad, do you have questions? We could start with those.
So update on construction progress. Mark of Construction Dynamics said exterior shell should be fully enclosed by end of March. Is that still on track?
No,
Roger, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. Nope, they're not going to make it by the end of March. They're
doing the rafters for the upturned roof, started that today. And Mark had said this is more for construction update, but possibly starting windows tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's, no, that didn't happen. It's not fully enclosed.
And the other thing I noted was contractor will present an updated construction timeline. Have we gotten one of those? Will we discuss that tonight?
We
We
have
did.
one.
And we will.
Excellent. Then I'm done.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let's jump right into the update on the construction, on building construction. Neil, do you want to talk about where we are with that? And
I would ask that Roger give us an update on the day-to-day, what's
Okay.
going on site, what's planned. And then I will chime in at the end on the overall schedule and update the committee on the contractor's updated schedule that was provided to us this week.
okay. Okay, Roger.
All right, and I can share some pictures too if you want. But so since you last met, they've worked on the roof. The roof deck is completed, almost completed, with the plywood overlayment and the AVB membrane is applied on the main roof. They've put in the exposed deck boards that's on the soffits, on the overhangs. And they started today with the rafters for the upturned roof over the teen room in the entry. They also today began the AVB on the walls on the west side. So we should have a completed roof within a few days. And the AVB should probably be early next week. I would think the latest that the walls would be wrapped. They started to lay out some of the sill plates for the interior partitions that are not the load bearing ones, which are already done. So on the west side of the building, which is mostly the meeting room and the adults area, you can see the exposed wood roof decking on the inside. So that's looking great. We're going through, still working through some issues with mechanicals and duct penetrations along the west side. Some revisions to the shear walls. Site work could be anytime in the next few weeks as ground conditions permit for starting the tight tank and the other part of the septic tank. And I know we're working on the application with National Grid going in, so that they're saying that'll take 4 to 6 weeks to get a pole. And once that's in, then they'll start with the electrical duct bank along the entrance drive. So site work hasn't resumed yet. That kind of weather, ground conditions, and the work that they intend to do first of the duct bank. Any other questions?
And the windows all did come on the
The
17th.
windows are delivered last week.
Okay.
And they're inside the building. Away from the openings, and they're covered so they stay dry. But they'll when they're ready to go in the next couple of days of the windows, they'll have a larger crew. That's what's anticipated.
Okay. Jeff, do you have anything to add to that?
No, everything he said is correct.
Okay. Okay, Neil. what do you have?
As was requested, the contractor prepared and provided us with a schedule. It came out, I think, the beginning of last week,
Mhm.
and it's been reviewed. The projected finish date for the project right now is projected to mid-September, which is about a 6-week delay from what was required by contract. I think that's consistent with what I had told you last week or last month when we last met. And I think that it is a very optimistic outlook on the completion of the work. As I had said before, I think we have some significant hurdles to get over in the next 6 or 8 weeks and get the building roughed in. And when I say that, I mean all of the in-wall mechanical and things that are then concealed and covered by finishes need to be completed. And once those are done and we get into a mode of closing the building in, sheetrock, mudding and taping seams, etc., should be able to much better define the path forward to completion. So I'm sure that that's not as specific as you would like it to be, but I'm happy to take any specific questions from the committee on the outlook for the project.
Are there any questions?
Dale has a question.
Neil, with the window, so in other words, none of the rough wiring or plumbing has started yet because the building is not yet fully closed in?
That is correct.
And can I ask, how good is the covering that's on the roof surface right now? What is it?
Roger, can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, it's a air and water barrier membrane underlayment. So that's essentially your lowest layer of waterproofing. So the roof itself is waterproof. It just has the area of the upturned roof, which is getting framed now. So the roof itself is waterproof.
Okay.
Deck's all covered. It's just that one area of the bump out where the roof hasn't been done yet.
They're also getting a lot of wind driven rain.
Could you speak louder, Jeff?
There's also a lot of wind driven rain because of large window openings at the moment.
I have a question, and I don't know who this is for. A friend of mine who's a wood scientist asked how long the building has to dry out before you can close in the walls, once the exterior is sealed or done. Because there must be a lot of moisture in there now.
So I can speak to that.
I don't think
the-
really. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I think since the roof AVB has been applied, we're not getting any direct rain from the roof condition. The walls are still open. So as Neil was saying, Jeff was saying that, we're getting some wind-driven rain. I think when I was on site, there was some water inside the building, but to your question specifically, the wall AVB is starting to be applied, and that is only allowed to be applied once the substrate has dried out. So we did get rain over the weekend and earlier, but those walls have sufficiently dried out to allow the application of the wall air vapor barrier. Once that's on, then and all the seals are made, the windows are in, the building is considered waterproof to allow the next steps of installation, or at least electrical anyway. I think also HVAC. There's some rough-in work that can go in, I believe, even if it isn't completely a sealed building. But I don't think there's a specific concern for interior framing having a moisture content that needs to dry out.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And will the windows go in quickly once they start? Is that a more straightforward thing, or are they likely to encounter problems with those as well?
So they're casement windows that a lot of them have been ganged off-site, so in the factory. So they've already been joined into larger assemblies of windows, a lot of them, or at least for the larger window openings themselves. All the rough openings have been checked. Everything is on site from the factory per the shop drawing reviews, as I understand it anyway, coming from CDI. So I don't foresee any issues. I don't have it fresh in my mind what the schedule calls for start to finish on Windows. My sense is they'll go in pretty quickly, and then I think they're sealing between the different assemblies, between the window assemblies themselves, would take, maybe a handful of days. I don't know, Roger or Neil, maybe a week thereafter. So I would expect that goes fairly quickly with the windows. Yeah. I don't know what was on the schedule, Roger or Neil, for windows, whether it was a couple of weeks or
Weeks,
what was that,
2
Jeff?
weeks, 2 weeks for windows.
Got it.
Well, that will be exciting to see.
Will be.
The biggest thing I see with the windows is they're big and they're heavy.
Yep.
So they're gonna need the right
Some
kind
of
of
them are-
equipment.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
For everyone who knows things, are you happy with the quality of the work being done?
I'm satisfied. How's that?
Adequate.
Dominic, how are you guys seeing it from your end?
We are, and the same from our consultants. At least it's been predominantly structural at this point, as far as our consultants are concerned. We're impressed with the exposed glue lambs that are in and the wood decking. We were a little concerned, or we never quite know until the glue lamb rafters, the roof rafters, are revealed as to what state they're in. Sometimes having them wrapped up and exposed can be problematic as far as staining. But I don't think there needs to be a lot of sanding done thereafter. It looks really nice in there as far as that's our first finish that we're seeing as far as the decking. As it relates to workmanship, we've been happy with the work so far.
Yeah, I'd say the workmanship has been very good and the cuts are very tight. And they've, where things haven't been perfect, they've gone back and reworked them. So they've been very diligent and very accurate with their cuts. Hoping for the best as they go forward.
Are there any other questions? Okay, I don't hear any. Dominic, do you have anything that you would like the committee to be thinking about looking at?
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to share my screen. I believe Marianne has brought with her for the committee members in the room some sample boards of color samples. I have a brief presentation just to go through interior color selections for you guys to review. Let me see if I can share screen here. I can, so we should be good there. Can you confirm that you in the town hall can see the 3 boards? I believe there's three boards there with different
Now
colors.
they
Great.
can. I had them
Excellent.
hidden.
So the last portion for finish review that I wanted to discuss with you and get your input on is the color of the interior walls. So I wanted to just again flash this building section describing, actually I don't have the axonometric, but the intent or the color plan is that there would be a ribbon of color that works its way along this wall and into the spaces in and out as you're seeing them here in this section. So entry into the building is through this double door into the lobby. When you turn left, you then enter the meeting room, which we wanted to keep as white to allow for any artwork to really pop in there. So we wanted to keep it more neutral in the meeting room. Then when you walk through the lobby again and into the Library of Things area, we're currently looking at the wall for the 2 bathrooms that you would enter. There's 2 doors here and a drink fountain in between. We wanted to start introducing color. So color here that would then turn into the teens room beyond, that you can see here beyond the glazed wall condition. We have bookshelves in front. This is a low ceiling height, so you're seeing this grayed out. This is a plenum where all our mechanical equipment will be stored. And then as you go through this threshold, you have the director's office to the right, and this is the adults room. So again, a change of color to delineate the change in program, and then the color to work its way through the reading nook and the study room. Then there's the threshold into the children's room, and the children's room has 2 breakout spaces that would also continue the color in and out. So consider this really as a ribbon of color that works its way in and out of these spaces. The other half of the building that is not described in this section is behind us, and that would all be white. We have wall niche shelving there, but that's the intent. So I wanted to just describe that here, and then give you this slide which shows 3 different options. So we had a few working meetings with Elaine, Jeff, and Marianne, and we took in all the comments and previous presentations of color that Odinzello has presented to the group. And we took, the various comments from the committee and our sensibility for what this colors should be. And we started to explore that in these 3 options. Initially, Odinzello, we had proposed a more cool palette, so more in the blue hues, to the point where we really stayed with the blues. And then as we were exploring different floor finishes, we started to pop in, start to at least present, could there be yellows? Could there be greens and different colors? So we used all of that as a baseline. But in our discussions as a small group, we really felt that there was a need for earth tones. And so we wanted to kind of, as you can see here, there's a similar palette. Option 1 is where we started. And so we were looking at incorporating greens, which ties in to the green hue of the slate. So the slate on the exterior of the building has a green hue to it. And we thought,
Also change some.
So Dominic, the boards that we have here look a little different than the boards you have, because remember, I did some switching.
Oh, okay.
I was assisted by, the other people in the room.
Got
So people are grumbling about how they don't match, but we'll,
But there's 2 greens and there's 2 coral,
There's
whatever,
3
terracottas, and there's
corals.
2 yellows.
right.
No, aren't
There's
there?
3
Oh, there's
corals,
3,
there's
okay.
2 greens and 2
Oh,
yellows.
Okay.
So we switched the hazel on option 2 with the haven on
In
option.
option 3.
No, wait a minute. Option 3 is right. And it's option 1 and option 2 that we switched the greens at the top.
Got it. The haven with the hazel. Got it.
Yeah.
So initially we had started with a more bold palette of the green at entry, going into an earth tone in the adults, which we felt was appropriate to the program of adults, and then to a more accentuated yellow for the children, something with a little bit more pop. And so you can see here that these are more of a saturated version. Then, we also considered a more cooler version of the green. So starting to tie in a little bit of the blue, you can see the comparison there. So what you see in front of you, option 1 and 2 are switched to what I have on the screen. And then starting to pare down what this earth tone beige color could be, along with a desaturated yellow. And then option 3 is really kind of a combination or another play on those options. So this is where we landed. I have some interior views just to suggest what it could look like. You can reference the boards in front of you. So again, to remind you what we are aiming for in the meeting room. So more monochromatic, allow the warmth of the wood ceiling to really accentuate the space, including the maple trim that we'll have on the windows. And then as you enter the building, turn right from the lobby, you're looking at browsing a library of things. And so, one of the green selections here, it is a low ceiling. It's 9 foot, so it's actually not as low. Comparatively, it's low. But there will be some borrowed light, some natural borrowed light from teens and the staff workroom here. Also behind us in the lobby, you'll have some borrowed light coming into the space. But generally, there'll be more artificial light here working with this green. That green would turn into teens. And we're also... I'm sorry, Marianne?
Restroom doors, what color would the restroom doors be?
I would suggest that we do the same color and make them go away, but we can study that.
Idea. No, I don't either. I thought they would be wood. No?
I
they-
don't believe we have wood doors. I think we have primed doors to receive paint. I can double check that.
For folks with low visual acuity, would it be better to have a door that doesn't blend in? I know that there's also the aesthetics as well, but if somebody's in a rush trying to find the bathroom and they have difficulty distinguishing, surfaces clearly, it might be good to have something that makes it easy for them to find that.
I think that's a valid point, Heather. One thing I do want to counter, though, related to this image, is that I don't think this is. I think the change in plane, so the recessed door condition and the shadows created would accentuate the fact that there's a recessed door there, which would be more exaggerated than what you're seeing here for sure. So this image doesn't truly represent how it would feel, monochromatic color application. But I would be happy to study a couple of elevations and maybe we can get kind of buy-in from the group on a choice there.
Would they be paneled doors or flat doors?
I didn't fully hear the question, Marianne. Or
They're
whoever.
flush. I asked, would they be paneled or flush?
Are they flush doors?
They're
Tom?
flush, yeah.
So I'm having a hard time visualizing this without seeing the floor samples at hand. Is it, and just as an aside, I thought we were gonna make these decisions when we were in the space and we could see them in the.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too, Penny. I think there is, I think we definitely own this amount of color. So here we have, I think, 3 different options of the beige, and we have 2s of the greens, 2 of the yellow. And I wouldn't be comfortable making a final choice today by any means. I think this was more of a general sensibility for where we're going with the palette, and we would actually wait till the interior of the building's complete, drywall is finished, and do paint draws in each of the spaces. So this space, we would actually do whatever green, whatever color choices, we could do some drawdowns actually on this part of the wall, and we would do the same in adults and children's, and we would assess it in person. Make sure that we have a correct estimation of artificial light in the spaces, and we would go and assess different colors actually applied. Maybe 18 inches by 24 inches long, something like that. So you get a good swath of color and a few applications there. So just wanted to be clear of that about
But
that.
we have to give them a direction so they know what
Yes,
to get.
that's
Like
correct.
they're not gonna go to the store and get a sample of everything.
Well, I know, but
Correct.
this sounds like it's 4 months away.
Correct. It is a ways away. We're really closing the loop on kind of a working group that we've had internally with Marianne, Elaine, and Jeff to wrap up selections and really wrap up all the interior finish selections entirely, or at least to a point where the last step is just to evaluate this in the building.
And I think that part of this is that we'd like to be prepared when the building is ready to receive color, that we know what palettes we're working with so that we can go in there and do this without starting from scratch. And that's why we're doing it now.
Yep. So I have a couple other views just to give you a sense again of the comparative color selection here in adults. We're looking into the director's office to the right here, and you know the shelving niches and the white applied walls to the left, and above this 9-foot datum, and then the color kind of turning in and out of the space to the right. And then again in children's, similarly, different color here used to the right, where this 9-foot datum and the ribbon of color is being applied to the right, juxtaposed to the condition on the left. And we had a reverse view.
Dominic, nice to see if you could, because the flooring we picked is not gray like that.
Mhm.
And it might be nice to kind of see if you could substitute the floor color with something closer to the floor that we chose.
Mhm.
Because like looking at that, I don't know if yellow's gonna look good next to that floor color that we chose.
Mhm.
Oh, didn't we hold it up? I don't know.
Is it possible for us to have a sample of the carpet and the?
Absolutely, yeah. It's our
Red-
mistake not to have it with you tonight. Then, really, the intent was, you know, to give you a comprehensive sense of it and be able to give you the true colors and finishes in person, and paired with a presentation slide that it's very difficult to represent in, you know, a slide that's then being projected
Yeah.
on a different screen.
Yeah.
The true color is not representative in the image that you're looking, that's for sure. So the intent was that you had that the samples in front of you to help.
But these colors on the samples, are the colors these are accurate representations.
Yes.
They're an approximation, yes. Yeah.
That's really different.
Yeah, computer screens always show color.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, on my screen, they look kind of mustardy, that
Yeah.
yellow, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of mustardy, so.
Brad's got a question.
Okay, Brad has a question. And you're muted, Brad.
Couple things. One is, you had talked about the ribbon,
Mm.
and once you started showing these, I said, oh, now I understand what you mean. The entire west wall, the light will be off-white, and the upper will be also not colored. So this is just a splash of color coming through along one side, and it gave me a different image of that. And I just, I like that. I like having the lighter color on the west side. But one question here, the bookcase that I see on the right, is that maple?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be maple. So I think we're still working through these are slated to be mobile shelves, and how they are encased, whether they receive end panels and canopy tops is still a decision to be made. We like to start with a maple panel, again, it draws of the warmth of the wood that's being used in the structure. The recessed niche shelf here, I do want to say this would not receive panels. It would not receive maple panels as shown here in this image. So we generally only consider wood canopy tops and end panels for freestanding shelving, not the shelving niches.
And on the right, the back right, the inset shelving, no, behind
This here.
right there, above that, is that
Yep.
gray intended there?
Yes. So being a recess, it's a niche within the wall, and we would like to do a gray color that ties in the final color selection for the metal shelving. So metal shelving generally comes with a variety of color selections that you can make. We would start at least with a gray hue, and we can tie whatever that selection for the metal color is, and apply that to the shelving niche itself.
And do we have any other inset shelves like that in a different section?
So we do in adult. So
I
you
see.
see it there.
Okay.
We are also incorporating it in these break-off spaces for the children's room here. But just to note, there isn't kind of a dropped soffit condition here, so it's open above. But you can see here these shelves are nested within this end wall condition here. Here it's more of a solid wall with a niche. That you kind of get a better sense of it here, right? It's a recess within a solid thickness of wall. And then in the adults, we do the same. So there's a thickness to the wall with about a 15-inch recess or niche condition here. So we do it in adults as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't hear anyone. So I will assume that you are going to look at these. We will get we can get the samples the next time you're at the construction meeting,
I can
Dominic.
bring them up next time and have them, on site, and then potentially we meet again. I guess now that we are all here, potentially a more definitive response from the group might not be warranted, seeing as you don't have the floor finishes. I just wanted to see, whether there was a general sense of heading in the right direction. I think this is not radical, but there's been quite a change to a lot of the colors that we've presented over the history of the project, and just wanted to see whether we're more agreeable in kind of an agreeable zone.
When you guys when the subcommittee was talking about colors, did you have the floor sample and the carpet sample and the slate sample?
We did, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
Maybe that would help.
Yeah, that would help me a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Yes, we did.
Good.
So I think if you could stop sharing now, Dominic, so I
Yeah,
can
sure.
see everybody's faces.
Yeah.
The committee, is everyone available for the April 3rd that we're going to do the walkthrough on the committee? Is there anyone in the committee that is not going to be available? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody say they're not going to be available. So maybe, is it possible? That's April 3rd. I've lost track. Let's see.
So that's a week from Thursday, and Dominic is not scheduled to come out next week.
Right,
It's-
so the construction meeting on the 31st is, excuse me, is virtual. Is that correct?
Right.
Is there any way that we could get those those samples to us before the 3rd, Dominic? Could you?
Yeah,
set-
I think we could work something out.
Okay,
And then allow you to reassess in the trailer on site.
yes.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Yep.
So
Sounds good.
Heather and Andrea, the library building committee, the library trustees and the select board are going to visit the library site on Thursday, April 3rd at 5:30 PM. If you want to come out to Shutesbury for that, you're welcome. It's muddy. The site supervisor keeps telling me that it's muddy. So,
We know about mud here.
I say that, we know about mud in Shutesbury, so.
I am not available that afternoon. We have our board meeting in the morning and we're in Boston that day. And one of our agenda items is your grant
Right.
award and increase. So it would be hard to get out there by 5:30. But we do have to schedule a visit, and
Yeah,
I would prefer that we schedule it for when you are weather tight, when your windows are in, so that we can see that
Okay.
entire envelope, weather
Yep.
tight. So just keep us posted on that to see when that will actually be. I know that it's kind of a moving target right now.
Okay, we will definitely do that.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions on the update to the building? I don't see any. Okay, are there any subcommittee reports?
I'll make a quick report from the Friends of the Library. We put in the mail today the letters for Library Giving Day, which is April 9th. And you should all be receiving those soon, and send us a check.
There you go.
Or give us a lot of money.
okay.
Give early, give often.
Give early, get off, yes, exactly. It will be nice when we don't have to do this anymore,
Okay.
at this level, yes,
Right.
yes.
You're always gonna need money.
I know, but, yeah. And just to note, this is the last big fundraiser we have before the library is finished, so that's kind of exciting.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Brad, is there anything from the trustees that you'd like to share with us?
No,
Okay. Is there anything else? Is there any other business?
I have, so the one other business I have is the dedication plaque, which I
Yes.
emailed to everybody and I can share. And so a couple of weeks ago, I don't know why that's like that, but anyway, okay.
Fix the Bradley typo.
Okay.
Fix the Bradley typo.
Is that a typo?
Yeah, there's Bradley's misspelled on one of them. I know that.
How do you spell Brad? Brad. It says Bradley, Ley, is that right?
And on the other side, it says,
On the trustees, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Bradley
Yeah,
and Brady.
Right.
Okay, all right, so we'll fix
Bradley
that.
or something.
1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Alrighty, that's a typo.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad's name is in 2 places.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
My
Brad.
name was in 2 places and I took one out. So, but I think I'm fine with where it is. And so Dominic, you see that, so the correct spelling of Bradley Foster is the
Mhm.
one under the building committee.
I see that. Yep.
Okay, and so the thing that I added in, so Dominic sent me a sample and it had things that were common on these dedication plaques in other places. And I added in the Friends of the Library and I started to type the Friends of the M.N. Spear Memorial Library, but I thought it's likely that
it'll change.
that'll change. So I thought we could call it the Friends of the Shutesbury Library.
Mhm.
And so we could add that in, that And then maybe that could be centered, somehow, maybe, you know, the formatting of that could be changed a little bit, but Andrea and Heather, does this look okay to you? Like for, as far as the MBLC mentions?
It looks good to me. The one that I'm a fan of the Oxford comma, so I would just put a comma after Friends of the Library and then separate out the Massachusetts Public Library Construction Program. I also noticed under library trustees, I see a Mullane De Silva. Is this supposed to be Melanie?
Oh, it's Melanie. Oh, good
So-
job. Good catch. That is Melanie.
Okay. So are you getting that, Dominic? Okay. All right.
And Melissa is misspelled.
Oh, Melissa is Melissa. Oh, boy, this is, and I just, you know, something, I took your, document and put it in Canva. So it's quite possible, Dominic, that when I did that it got kind of messed up. I'm sure these spelling mistakes had nothing to do with you.
I appreciate that comment, Marianne, but I wouldn't back that up.
So.
One thing I noticed, the bottom line, project management, architect and construction, the last one, construction dynamics, isn't on the same line as the others.
Yeah, I would definitely
Right.
edit that
Yeah.
and make sure they're aligned.
I'm sure you're
spacing looks
using
kind of-
different software, so.
What,
I have,
This, the headings
Yeah.
and where the lines started.
Yes.
Double.
Yeah.
I have a,
This is a document, okay. Somebody else.
It's a draft.
and wouldn't you, it looks like library building committee, select board, and library trustees are all bolded. And that project management, architect and construction are not. And is that by intent or not?
I would say it's not. They should be the same. So I'll definitely make sure they are. I'm not sure how it's being read on the screen. It could be, yeah, misleading. They should be the same hierarchy, basically the same bold, the same size.
it looks like the space between the bottom three items, project management, architect, construction, and what's below them is greater than above. You know, like looking at library building committee and the amount of space before Elaine's name looks less than what's down below.
Yeah, I completely agree, Stephen, and I totally understand that. I'll make sure I use InDesign, so I make sure I have a lot of guidelines and rulers and things like that. So I make sure that should be the same distance.
Tighten all of them up a little bit. I don't think you need quite that much space between your heading and the names of the companies. But
I would think you would want from library building committee to construction, those 6, I would think you would want each column, each pair related to each other. It looks like project management is offset from library building committee, and even architect and select board look like they're not.
Right. And this is mostly what I was going for by sharing this with you at this point was saying, is this the information we want
Okay.
on that?
Not the
But
final
don't-
formatting. Okay, I'll back off.
Sent this to me, it had some other information in it that I removed. So it had the entire library staff in a column, and I didn't think, I thought that was too much. And it had the town administrator listed, and since 3 different town administrators will be involved in this project, we're not gonna list the town administrator.
Yeah.
And, so the formatting is all me. And Dominic's was much cleaner and, you know, organized, and I'm sure he'll work with his.
okay.
And yes, and I'm sure on his, all of his spelling was correct, so.
I'll take it.
You'll see a proof again. We have time to see a proof. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, is there anything else that we need to discuss tonight? Besides our next meeting date, and I think we should probably wait to schedule that to determine where we are in the project and when we need to have updates. We have been trying for the 4th Thursday, which would be the 24th of April. Does that work for people?
Tonight, Wednesday.
I would like to, as someone who doesn't go to the weekly meetings, I often feel like I don't really know what's going on. And even if there's not a lot to discuss, I'd love to just get an update.
Okay, so
Yeah.
April 24th?
You can sit at home and Zoom.
April 24th is a Thursday? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Or
I can't do that.
what's wrong with Wednesday? Tonight is Wednesday.
tonight is Wednesday. We could do April 23rd.
I can do April 23rd.
April 23rd works for me.
Yeah, Wednesday's better. For me.
Does that work for you, Dominic? Here, I'll stop sharing.
I'll have to check if that works for me. I'm busy a number of Wednesdays. I don't know that specific one.
All right, I'll put out a doodle poll so that we can get one in April, okay? Instead of us trying to back and forth at this.
Yeah, I'll be unavailable late April, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'll put out a doodle poll for everyone, and I'll definitely include Heather and Andrea and everybody who's on the call right now. Is there any other business that we need to take care of? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn pool.
Second.
Second by Quackenbush. Roll call vote.
Yes, no, aye.
Elvis, aye.
Foster, aye.
Pool,
Jake's eye.
Moss, I.
Quackenbush, aye.
Vallejo, aye. Thank you all very much as we move forward on this, and I hope to see you all on the 3rd.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yep.
Very much so. Okay, good night, folks.
Thanks,
Night.
everybody. Bye.
Right. Good night.
Go on.
Mary Ann, can you hold on for a second?
Yeah.
Do you need me also, Neil?
I think so. Did you,
Okay.
Mary Ann, did you see that Donnie responded?
Yes, so I wanted to ask, are you available Monday at 9:30?
This coming Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Elaine, you available Monday at 9:30?
No, I'll be on the road coming home.
Okay, Jeff and I can handle it, and I'll tell you more about it later, okay?
Okay,
All right, okay, that
I'll
works,
send- And I assume, Mary Ann, that was okay to do by Zoom?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, do you want me to send out a Zoom invite or do you?
I'll do it,
Okay,
okay. Do
Very
it.
good.
All right,
that was it.
Okay.
Thank you.
all right, thanks, okay.
okay. Good night.
Good night. Why don't we try?